On the second day of May 2025, it is your Friday, and this is News Tonight. My name is Patricia Lukomai. Mgalu Mohammed is already with us there on sign language. But before we delve into the technicalities of the bulletin, first though, let's look at the top stories. In our top stories tonight, Premier Nabanja commissions government road construction in Kamwenje district. Government grants amnesty to 43 ADF captives. Che heard 6 environmental justice from High Court. And lastly, Uganda Society of Architects hosts its 3rd annual sports gala. And into the news. Government has commissioned the construction of the road that connects 3 refugee settlements in western Uganda. The 105-kilometer road will connect Ramwanja refugee camp, Chaka 1 and Chaka 2 refugee camps. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, commissioned the construction of the road on behalf of the President at Bwizi, Kamwenje district.
President of the Republic of Uganda to officially launch the construction of Bwizi Chihura Mpara for God and my country.
Thank you.
The 105-kilometer road will cover Chenjojo, Kihura, Bwizi, Rwamwanja, Kahunge, Mpara Bwizi, including 20 kilometers town roads in the districts of Kamwenge, Chenjojo, and Chegegwa.
OPM, I want to thank you. When they were planning, because the window was a refugee window, we requested OPM then. We said, you have Rwamwanja refugee settlement. You have Chaka 1 and Chaka 2. You bring heavy trucks to deliver humanitarian assistance. All of these trucks damage our roads. So that's how this road was accepted to connect to Mpara. I want to thank your office for understanding us.
This road was included in the NRM manifesto of 2016 and 2021 to be implemented under the Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, commissioned the construction of the road on behalf of the President at Bwizi in Kamwenje district.
The project will therefore be critical in addressing the needs of refugees and the host communities, and will facilitate delivery of aid and essential goods and improving access to services like healthcare and education, and promote economic opportunities for both refugees and host communities while ensuring freedom of movement and facilitating social integration. Mwikirize ndagire Ministry ya Works eyanguye bwangu ebihandiko tusobole kuongera town zona tumale kukora kuntumanye nguko ahoire. So town ezibaire zitali mu plan nkakamwenge nkuragira ngunazo bazigaitemu.
The road will also enhance tourism potential in Rwenzori region, targeting Kibale National Park, and will contribute to the development of tourism in the region, accounting to about 6% of the total number of tourists in Uganda.
As a tourism road, it will also enhance the tourism potential in the Rwenzori sub-region. 10 out of the 12 national parks are in the western region. The 2 proposed routes are adjacent to Kibale National Park and contribute to the development of tourism in the region.
The project is funded by the Islamic Development Bank and will be constructed by the Arab contractors. Minister Echweru also explains why Mityana Mubende Road has delayed.
From Mityana to Mubende.
Oruguto orwa Mityana kushika Mubende. Tugambe honangwa. Talk about it also. Prime
Minister, I can confirm to you the money entered the Minister of Works account just last night.
Nyekiro sente zo tuzitungire omu account ya Ministry of Works.
As if they knew I was coming this way.
No shaba manyene nguninzo okwo bagenda ngu.
I have called the leadership of Enago because they had even gone back to Europe.
It will reveal that a lot of government funds is lost in district roads into corruption. He promised to arrest all district leaders involved in stealing taxpayers' money.
But what we decided, Mzee guided us and said, let's give each district 1 billion shillings to support community access road improvement.
President akarasharamu yagira ngo katuhereze kutwaragira mu kunanka.
What some districts are doing, and I want you to listen to me very attentively, engineers.
Za district zini zine kizu kozerekana mu mpurimo ba engineer.
The money hits the account of the district, the 1 billion.
Sente zishiko mu district.
They take all that money and put in one petrol station.
Bazitwara abandi titwe aba district zini bazitwara basta petrol station bazigura mashita.
Then the district engineer and the chief administrative officer withdraw that money as their pocket money and eat it. I'm going to come here to follow Mzee when he's coming for his PDM, and I will ask each one of you before the people to account for the last 3 years, the money that you have received, the roads that you have done, and the amount each road has taken. You have to account before the population.
President Kware ijo PDM nija kubeta ba engineer mutugambira buri district emyaka eshatehoire mukazukoze saki.
Some of the recently completed road projects in the Rwenzori sub-region and the surrounding area include Kenjojo Kaboya Road, Kamwenge Fort Portal Road, Mubende Kakumiro Kagadi Road, Kenjojo Fort Portal Road, Fort Portal Hima Road, Hima Katunguru Road, and Ishaka Katunguru, among others.
And in our top story, President Yoweri Museveni has today met and held productive talks with the visiting Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, Area Afia. During a meeting held at State House Entebbe, President Museveni warmly welcomed his guest to Uganda and reiterated Uganda's position in maintaining and strengthening the cordial relationship existing between Uganda and Japan. President Museveni additionally commended the government of Japan for the bilateral development projects undertaken in Uganda, citing the bridge over the Nile in Jinja and Kampala flyover, as well as Gulu to Atiak Road. President Museveni, however, reiterated his appeal through his guest to Japanese companies to take keen interest in the private sector. President Museveni called on the Japanese companies to tap into the potentially huge market of Africa that will be 2.5 billion people in the next 30 years, forming a quarter of the human race. The president further urged the visiting Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan to woo investors into investing in construction of the railway network that could link markets on the continent under the umbrella of Continental Free Trade Area. President Museveni informed his guests of the urgent need of road equipment for the construction and maintenance of the road network in Uganda, noting that with increase of districts to 147 and more municipalities, there is need for more units of road equipment. On her part, Afia thanked President Museveni for the very warm hospitality according to her and her delegation, as also assured President Museveni for her personal push for investment projects as well as infrastructure development programs once she sets foot at home in Japan. The Amnesty Commission has granted amnesty to 43 former ADF captives from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The 43 individuals received their amnesty certificates at the Ministry of Defense headquarters in Buea, Kampala.
The Amnesty Commission has granted amnesty to the fifth group of former ADF captives and rescued individuals. The individuals have undergone 3 months of rehabilitation and skills training.
So this event is meant to, one, to graduate them, get them through the process of amnesty. That's why we have Amnesty Uganda here.
The card we give you is your master card, is a proof that you denounced rebellion, is a proof that you are a free person to live in this country.
The group received psychosocial support and hands-on vocational training, making them employable and better prepared for reintegration into society.
Hands-on skills, including motorcycle mechanics, repair, sewing, weaving, painting, elementary carpentry, shoemaking, and baking, amongst others.
This process has been supported by the Bridgeway Foundation in collaboration with the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF. The foundation also aids reintegration by enrolling beneficiaries in formal education and vocational schools.
Many of our clients arrive traumatized, carrying the scars of violence and loss. Our psychologists help them process their experience, rebuild their confidence, and envision a new future.
As our role, our duty is to make sure we link these people to government intervention. They need to be linked to programs like PDM, such that they're in a position to benefit from what the government is offering.
These rescued captives are now instrumental in defection messaging campaigns, serving as ambassadors to those still in fighting, encouraging them to abandon rebellion.
They shared the stories of redemption and hope, urging their former comrades to abandon extremism and choose peace. This dual approach, defection, messaging, and rehabilitation, feed into a larger strategy of weakening ADF's capacity to commit mass atrocities.
Amnesty is granted only once. There is no second chance. The UPDF has confirmed that since the 2023 incidents, there have been no such attacks. Several ADF commanders have been killed, and operations to dismantle terror cells continue. Tony Kent Chaze, UBC.
The media fraternity has been advised to reflect on the history of Uganda while executing their respective duties. The government chief whip Hamson Oboa told the media that the country is reaping fruits of fighting bad governance in the old days and thus should be respected.
Ahead of the World Press Freedom Day 2025, media fraternity under various umbrella bodies converged at Parliamentary Building to understand the stance of media freedom in Uganda, especially as the electoral fever rises.
News is only exclusive and sweet when you can get it and come back alive.
The discussions centered on the safety of journalists and attracted panelists that included Charity Ahimsibwe, the Executive Director, Electoral Laws Institute, and Kira Municipality Member of Parliament, Ibrahim Semujunganda, among others.
But please don't give up, because we don't have the option to do so. But also be brave. One of the things that must happen on Press Freedom Day is celebrate those who have been brave. I think collectively, if you are, there are things they will not want to do. And that at every point when we are doing the work that we do as journalists, our citizenship should come first. And the bigger goal of building a prosperous, united, consolidated Uganda should be our anchor. And I am proud to say that the media in Uganda has been doing this.
The leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, said journalism should be practiced with integrity and courage.
We're also seeing a growing public hunger for independent, investigative journalism. I thank people like Solomon Selwanja who are digging in their heels in that regard. Ugandans are asking hard questions. They want facts, not spin. And this demand gives honest journalism the relevance and urgency that it deserves.
This media engagement was organized by Uganda Parliamentary Press Association and was presided over by the government chief whip, Hamson Obua.
At least today, we can gather like we have gathered, and we talk. One would use the word unleashing verbal artillery, and you have heard. In broad daylight, we are here talking. Can we ask the elders that at the time of the crisis, would this happen? At the time of the pigeonhole constitution, would this happen?
Obua's statement remains a question of whether freedom of speech in Uganda is indeed free.
Don't tell us about Article 29, don't tell us about the Constitution and these very good gigantic words and Chapter 4 when what we see on the ground is different. Keep the security, the military, the beaters, the hooligans, the masked, hooded people off the election.
If you choose to report on the side of government, then you don't make news. You choose to report on the side of opposition, that's when you get news. That's when you get a lot of coverage. That's when the media house is respected and I've got that clientele and followers. I said, okay, from that angle, but from another angle, government is there providing you with the space to do whatever you are doing. So,
the CEO, National Association of Broadcasters, Joseph Bayenga, emphasized the need for journalists to focus on unity, put away selfish interests, and serve the public.
So we need to make sure safety is a priority in everything we do. We will do what we can as an organization to somehow facilitate that conversation, but media houses, we need to do that. Make sure our people are protected.
WUPA used the opportunity to launch its website in a bid to enhance journalism activities.
We shall take a picture of them.
Daniel Mugoya, Farida Namfuka, UBC News.
While the Center for Health, Human Rights and Development, CHERD, has formally instituted proceedings against Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, and National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, over negligence that resulted into a catastrophic collapse of the Kasese landfill, hence the loss of lives and property.
Center for Health, Human Rights and Development accuses the two government agencies of failing to respond to repeated warnings about the public health risks and environmental hazards posed by poor waste management at the Kasese landfill.
That dispose of garbage, KCCA cannot be reluctant to the cries of the communities in Kasese until when it is really too late. We noticed that there were women struggling, there were men struggling, people crying of their property, people crying of, their lives. Even when you go there now, you will actually see houses destroyed and we are actually silent. So we thought that by coming up and instituting cases against them, they will wake up. And specifically, we are taking both of them because if KCCA had failed, then NEMA ought to have come up and taken up its sole responsibility.
In its petition, CHERD is demanding for, among others, the immediate decommissioning of the Kasese landfill and a comprehensive environmental restoration of the affected area.
We are here together with communities of Kasese to demand for immediate decommissioning of the landfill, comprehensive environmental restoration, and the adoption of sustainable waste management systems aligned with international best practices. We have decided to engage court for declarations and orders relating to the protection of violated rights to life, property, health, a clean and healthy environment.
Aware of other cases in court about this issue, CHERD seeks for justice, particularly on environmental health.
But we have also looked at other cases that are there. But the cases that are there, one is an individual case, another is a representative suit, but they don't speak to the issues that we are speaking about. None of those cases is asking KCCA, for example, to decommission. None of those cases is looking at what NEMA failed to do at the time when the community of Kasese was making noise and trying to advocate for their rights.
Local residents report that waste is still being dumped at the site in secret, despite official claims that dumping ceased.
n'ebimotoka byennyini bw'oba okkiriddeko olwo oluguudo bisulako nga biriko n'ebisaaniko byabyo ne bitonyesa amazzi awo wonna nga gagenda gakkirira.
Bambi ebintu ebyobulabe bingi nnyo bye bazze ng'abaana baffe bajja babizanyisa ffe ng'abazadde ne tubeera mu kweraliikirira.
Twali twagala ti Kasese ejje eggalewo ekirombe ekyo eteekewo n'amateeka.
Sehad believes this case should serve as a wake-up call for all agencies entrusted with the stewardship of public health and climate justice. Cayenne Faith, Nanono Smaya for UBC.
Now, the Bishop of Fort Portal Diocese, Right Reverend Robert Muhirwa Akiki, has issued a strong warning to men against alcoholism, describing it as a major contributor to family breakdowns. Speaking to hundreds of believers shortly after Mass on the feast day of St. Joseph the Worker at Holy Trinity Catholic Parish, the prelate linked the rising cases of domestic violence to alcohol abuse.
A team of 5 Catholic bishops from the Western Province are in Kasese district for pastoral visits and also to share experiences from different dioceses. The team, which is led by the Archbishop of Mbara City, Right Reverend Lambert Baino-Migisha, is said to give blessings to the believers and also encourage Christians to strengthen their faith in the Catholic Church. Bishop Aquinas Chibida of the Diocese of Kasese urged all families to develop a heart of blessing each other, which he believes would foster development and strengthen their relationship with God.
Husband and wife and children, let us be a blessing to one another and let us bless one another. Amen.
The Bishop of Hoima Diocese, Right Reverend Vincent Chirabo, also urged parents to teach their children biblical scriptures that can dedicate them to the kingdom of God.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 akagamba ebintu bino byenda kubagambira mubyegeseeko abaana banyu mubyegesa abaijukulu banyu omulabagani mu lubata mulabagani mulya ebintu bino mubyegeseewo.
Joseph Nzukwa is optimistic that the coming of the bishops to the Diocese of Kasese will strengthen Christians' faith and create unity among all believers.
Their coming is a strong message to us, especially in regard to the spirituality, in regard to the economic transformation within the Diocese of Kasese and within the ecclesiastical province. Number two, they are showing to us unity, that as an ecclesiastical province, we are liable and called upon to work together because we are one, despite the diversity of different tribes, of different origins. We are all people of God, and therefore we must work together.
Charity Marian Imnat and Moses Mutabali for UBC News.
Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs Hajat Minsa Kabanda is urging parents to make use of government schools instead of spending heavily on and costly on private institutions. Speaking at a student gathering at Kololo High School, the minister warned that many parents are draining their finances on expensive schools only to fall short when it's time to support their children.
Speaking with students at Kololo High School, Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, said many parents waste large sums of money on expensive schools only to struggle later when it's time to fund higher education.
But don't go to other schools which are so expensive. Come to senior secondary graduate school. Then afterwards, you will spare that money for university. Then afterwards, you achieve what you want. I have experience in years in schools. All my students have passed 3 years in schools.
The minister also advised students to focus on their studies during holidays to encourage academic discipline and prevent learning loss. Holidays often lead to distractions, and without structure, students may fall behind.
Don't go to holidays, please revise, study hard, please respect your bodies. Then respect your parents, as you respect your teachers. Then afterwards, you achieve what you want.
Kololo High School head teacher Hajat Amina Buyinza shared challenges faced by government schools, including cases where students' registration is delayed due to withheld payslips from their primary schools due to unpaid fees. In response, the minister promised to write to the Ministry of Education to address the issue.
You can't register a student without that serial number on the passport. So most of our students in senior 3, senior 4 have not been registered. At the time of registration, it becomes a challenge on their side. They accumulated a lot, as a result of fees wherever they were in P7.
But at least if you let me know, then I discuss it with my fellow minister, the Minister of Education.
Deputy Head Teacher Severi Hakim praised governments for supporting children from low-income families, especially those from ghetto communities who would otherwise be unable to afford education.
Convey our heartfelt gratitude to him for educating the urban rich. They told me I should stop calling them the urban poor. So children of the urban rich in the areas of ghetto places come here.
Cayenne Faith, Chontawede Proscovia for EBC.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries is urging farmers to venture into production of organic food products and resist from dependence on chemicals for food yields. This was communicated during the launch of the organic new earth fertilizers to feed the future and heal the soils.
Agriculture remains the backbone of Uganda's economy, employing over 70% of the population and serving as a major source of export earnings. With global demand rising for organic food products, Ugandan farmers are increasingly turning to sustainable methods to meet both local and international market standards. In a bind to strengthen soil fertility and boost crop yields, DII Group, led by Dr. Matthias Magola, has launched a new organic fertilizer in Kampala.
Expand capacity. Because the good news is that they have allowed us to use this product to export to the rest. So we want to use this so that our products can meet that standard. And we start exporting to the markets that it has not been possible to export before. I therefore request you to give us support, to work together. This is for you.
This product is designed to rebuild soil texture that has been damaged by excessive use of chemical sprays. With Organic New Earth, the aim is to empower farmers with a sustainable solution that improves both yields and food quality.
Now, when I eat, the people down to benefit from this. That's why you've seen we put demonstration gardens for people to come and learn from us. And also we are going to link directly with the market, and we are going to work hand in hand with you.
The Commissioner from Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Alex Kakuba, says this initiative will enable farmers meet good yields that meet world standards.
Organic food was estimated to be 228 billion United States dollars in 2024. And by then, it was projected to even grow up to $253 billion in 2025. Uganda is an agricultural country, and we desire to transform this country from peasantry to modernity.
Organic agriculture is not just good for health, it is also a business opportunity, since the world wants clean organic food.
The application rates, when we apply fertilizer, and how we do things. And if we don't change, I can assure you that we shall be top on the list of those countries that need help in terms of food insecurity.
As Uganda continues to position herself as a hub for organic produce, products like Organic New Earth are vital in equipping farmers to meet global standards while protecting land for the generations to come.
So this is a pure organic treatment that will take our plants, make them truly organic.
DEI Group signals a strong commitment to sustainable agriculture and national development. Suzanne Nabugude, Ivan Juko for UBC News.
Chancellor has urged staff associations to desist from confrontation engagements with management, warning that persistent conflict only undermines the institutions they aim to protect. Professor Jasper Ogwal Okeng was speaking during the Staff Association leadership handover at Lira University.
It was a moment of transition and reflection at Lira University as the leadership of the Academic Staff Association changed hands.
At all times.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jasper Ogwal Okeng, called on staff leaders to engage in meaningful dialogue and avoid confrontational approaches that could strain institutional harmony.
I even want to run amok because I haven't given you money. Do I have that money? I realize that many of us, officers, do not even know where the things they use in the office come from. These are what they call the life skills. You should know these things.
In modern world, people don't go on strike. People sit down and then find a better way of managing affairs.
The ceremony marked the end of a 6-year term for Tom Omute, who has chaired Lira University Academic Staff Association Lowassa since 2018.
I also learned that there is mutual suspicion always by university management and the staff association. The staff associations think university management is out there to cripple and destroy them. University management, on the other hand, thinks and views leaders of staff associations as troublemakers, people who are hell-bent to causing chaos and trouble in the universities. But what I have learned over almost 6 years of my leadership is that you can successfully navigate the difficult terrain of leadership and all the contradictions in the leadership by, first of all, understanding very clearly in the proper context what the issue at hand is.
Omute led through a period of growth, guiding the association through internal conflicts, advocating for staff welfare, and mentoring younger academics. He also pointed to unresolved issues including staffing gaps, lack of health insurance, and retirement benefits which he believes need urgent attention from government and university leadership.
New product innovation hub is another area the new Lowassa executives will focus on.
From physical well-being to academic empowerment, Professor Edward Komakech, the incoming chairperson, says Lowassa will be a vehicle for transformation, one rooted in teamwork and not tension. The message from this ceremony is timely not just for one institution, but for many that constructive dialogue, professional maturity and shared purpose remain the foundation for progress in higher education. Edi Ulwa, UBC News.
Regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hey, Okero. Hey, Kajambo. Mukasa. Where are you going with the family?
Oh no.
Hey.
We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register. And I need to make sure my name is on it.
Oh.
And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections together.